Welcome back. Most people think psi abilities are mysterious, supernatural, or somehow outside of the body, but they're not. If psi exists, it exists as physiology, as attention, perception, autonomic shifts, micro-movement, and pattern recognition. And that doesn't make it less magical. It actually makes it more magical. Today, I'm going to show you a simple demo using a plasma ball that can reveal how your nervous system organizes information differently on the left and right sides of your body, and how that organization directly affects your psi sensitivity and accuracy. Are you ready? People imagine psi as something mystical, but when you break it down, every psi-like skill, intuiting, sensing, predicting, perceiving subtle differences, it comes from the same underlying systems that govern things in your body, like attention, sensory gating, interoception, how you feel inside, micromotor output, autonomic tone, pattern recognition. And when those systems improve, psi improves. So you're not accessing something supernatural, you're using more of what your nervous system already does. The magic is you. Isn't that awesome? So I'm gonna do this little demo. So here's the ball, and I know there's a lot of reflection here, so I hope you can see it, but I have a good one on Instagram if you need it. So this is where it gets interesting. Watch how the plasma arcs behave when I use my left hand. Okay, do you see how wide they are? Wider, more sweeping arcs. These broad arcs reflect the left side of the brain's motor pattern. There's more distributed recruitment, more global movement tendencies. But now I'm gonna switch. You ready? The right hand. Okay, so then this arc is tighter. These tighter arcs mean a more focused control pattern. You see how much tighter that is? Let's just do that again. See the difference? So what does that tell us? It tells us your hemispheres don't perceive or organize the world in the same way. If your psi relies on perception, subtle changes, micro-movement biases, or intuitive drift, then hemisphere organization directly affects your accuracy. So what's actually happening? And this is the physiology, not the energetic aspect. What that plasma ball was showing is not chi or energy in this case. It's instead showing micro movement differences. Okay, so in my fingers, each hemisphere influences the micro adjustments your hands make unconsciously. These tiny differences alter the plasma arcs, and they also alter sensory input. The next thing they do is work with attention patterning. So each hemisphere organizes attention differently. If your attention is diffuse, your perception changes. And if it's tight and convergent, your perception changes again differently. Okay? It reflects your autonomic tone asymmetry. So your left and right sides often carry different baseline activations, and this affects stability, predictive timing, and perception. It also affects sensory gating. You're showing the difference in sensory gating because your brain filters sensations differently depending on which networks are dominant. And these are the same systems that shape psi-like tasks, like choosing the correct card, knowing which direction someone is choosing, sensing drift, detecting subtle changes, pre-movement prediction. Those aren't mystical, they're physiology. So how does this train psi, or how can this help you? This is the part most people never connect. The more stable and coherent your underlying systems are, the more accurate your psi abilities become. The plasma ball exercise helps train this. It trains hemispheric switching, so learning how each side feels, moves, and perceives. It trains attention modulation, so broad versus narrow focus dramatically changes your sensitivity. It works with predictive timing, with your brain, like your brain constantly forecasts what will happen next. So psi sits on top of this forecasting mechanism. It helps with sensory refinement. So when you reduce noise, subtle signals become detectable. It works with interoceptive clarity. The more clearly you feel your internal cues, the more you can detect pattern-based changes. So if you've ever felt like your psi is on some days and off on other days, it's because your physiology is shifting. So this demo gives you a doorway into training that shift. So let's talk about a practical training routine. So if you like, there's a simple side training drill that you can get using using the plasma ball. You can get one on Amazon. So use your left hand and notice those wide arcs and feel the diffuse kind of global attention pattern. Then use your right hand, notice the narrower arcs and feel the tighter convergent pattern. So switch back and forth slowly and observe how your perception shifts each time. Okay, after you do that for a minute or two, try a psi task. Choose a direction someone might pick, ask someone to pick a direction, choose it. Try a simple card guess exercise, either playing cards or Zener cards. Do a drift sensing task and track which hemisphere gives you clearer data. So for most people, left hand contact is broader perceptual field, right hand contact is tighter discriminative sensitivity. This teaches you how to tune the system you're using. So in closing, psi isn't magic. It's perception plus physiology plus pattern recognition. When you train the system, those abilities sharpen. And this is one of many small demonstrations that help people understand what psi really is and how you can train it ethically, clearly, and without mystique. And honestly, to me, it is more magical that this is innate within our own physiology than if it was some outside force. So if you want more grounded, practical psi training based on physiology, subscribe and we'll build it step by step.